Let's recap before we get to the third foundation. Foundation number one, know what a seller wants. Okay, we know what seller wants. Seller wants a buyer. Does not want the realtor that's constantly trying to be the hero of the story. Two, what does a buyer want? A buyer wants options. Options they cannot get on the internet. Options that they need you for. Third foundation. If you understand these three things, and here's the third one, you will rock and roll in real estate sales. The third foundation is, why should they use you? Welcome to another episode. I'm Rick Dhillon, and I'm going to share with you today the three foundation pillars that's going to help real estate agents hit real estate sales success. You can have all the things in the world in terms of leads and listing presentations and buyer presentations, but if you don't have these three things in your foundation, you're going to make your real estate career very hard. I've been selling real estate for about 20 years, and I want to share these foundation pillars with you because it really set me apart with my competition. So here's how I want you to think about it. Really get in tune with what a seller wants, get in tune with what a buyer wants, and figure out why they should use you in the first place. Okay? Why should they use you over and above doing it themselves or using your competition? If you can wrap your head around this, you're going to kick some ass in real estate sales. So let's start with a seller. What does a seller really want? Now, I've asked these questions in classrooms. I've asked these questions in auditoriums with thousands of agents. I've asked these questions one-on-one, and I've witnessed agents on their listing presentations. And let me tell you, 99% of agents do not know what a seller wants. How can you provide the seller without knowing what they want? So let's twist this around. Let's say you were really, really hungry. You haven't eaten in 3 days. Okay? You haven't eaten in 3 days. You go to a restaurant. You finally sit down. The server comes around and says, gives you the menu. What do you really want? Think about it. Do you want good service? Do you want integrity? Do you want to know awards of that server and how many people that they served? No, you don't want any of that. But as realtors, that's what we tell our potential sellers. We're always talking about ourselves. When you're hungry and you need to eat, you want food. That's what you want. I want you to nail it down to the root of what a seller wants. Now, when you narrow it down to the root of what a seller wants, a seller simply wants a buyer. Let me repeat that. A seller wants a buyer. So when I'm at my listing presentations, I will say to my prospect that I'm trying to make a client, I'm like, hey, you really don't want me. I'm actually getting in your way of what you actually want. They're like, what are you talking about, Rick? You actually want a buyer. If a buyer came onto your door right now, interrupted my listing presentation, and gave you an offer at the price you wanted, do you need me? They'll chuckle. They'll say, yeah, no, Rick, we wouldn't need you. Exactly, they wouldn't need me. So what do they need me for? Well, I'll tell my prospect, you need me to help you find the buyers. So as a realtor, if you kind of wrap your head around this fact, and when you're going into listing presentations, yeah, you want to build rapport. Yeah, you want to work on your communication and articulation. Yes, you want to be somewhat friendly and nice and all those kind of things that you already know. But then when you get into your marketing play, during your listing presentation, we all drop the ball. How many times have you heard a realtor talking about, this is how many awards I have. This is a picture of me and my dog on this billboard. This is a picture of me selling this house and getting my own buyers. Like, none of that stuff really matters, man. Who's the hero of the story? As soon as you start realizing that you, the realtor, are not the hero of the story, we make ourselves the hero of the story during our listing presentations. Make them the hero of the story. Make your potential prospect who's going to sign your listing agreement the hero of your story. How do you do that? Well, you tell them that, hey, I'm the agent that can find you buyers. Okay? So now, what are you going to do? Here's your job as a realtor if you want to become the agent that finds them buyers, okay? When I'm at listing presentation and I go through my marketing process, it's all about the buyers. Hey, Mr. Seller, boom. This is how you can get buyers from this area. Hey, Mrs. Seller, this is how I'm getting buyers from this area. Okay, so how does that work? What I do is in a given geographic area. So I do believe in farming, but this and geo farming, but this is not this video. Stay tuned. Give this channel a like, subscribe, and I guarantee you will love the geo farming video that I will be doing. But in this case, what you really want to do is when you're prospecting an area, I want you to pick a farm, and then in that farm, you're going to run some online lead generation. That online lead generation is simply going to state a lead magnet that says something like, hey, for the 3 best deals in XYZ city, click here. Now, as people click here, they're going to leave their name and their phone number. They're expecting the 3 best deals in that city. You're going to start going for listings in that city. And every day, what you're going to do for 2 hours a day, you're going to start prospecting in that area. So let's say you get 100 leads that month. You're going to start calling them with the script. Okay. This video again is not about the script, but you're going to call them on a script. And now in that XYZ city, you're going to be talking to buyers all the time. Okay. So now you're calling. No. Yes. You meet Jim. Yes, I am looking in XYZ city. Perfect. So Jim, the buyer that I found on my prospecting, I'm going to use him to go get listings. But moreover, in this presentation, when I'm in front of the listing, in front of the seller, I'm going to show them my prospecting methodology. I'm going to show them here's the leads that I have. Here's how I got them. And this is how I'm finding buyers in your neighborhood. Okay. Now the client's like, oh, wow. He's honestly, seriously getting buyers. Then I showed them a network of all the realtors that I have in the community that also get me buyers. So once you realize that the seller simply wants a buyer and not a real estate agent that is getting in their way, you build your whole business around what they want. Now, again, this video is not going to be about exactly how to build this business around your listing presentation, but I can do a video on that later on. Okay. Now that you understand what a seller wants, okay, you need to know what a buyer wants. Most of you agents right now are probably working with more buyers than you are sellers. That's the graduation program. Okay, we all go through it. You know, a lot of you guys are working with tenants and, you know, finding leases right now. Then you work with some buyers. The real killers are amazing agents that are kicking ass and taking names. They're big listing agents. Okay. But I just kind of showed you a hack on how to get there quickly. But for those of you that are working for buyers, you have to understand what a buyer wants. Okay. What does a buyer really want? Let me give you the answer while you're thinking. Some of you guys are saying a buyer wants houses. They want a good deal. Yeah. They want all that stuff. But with the internet these days, they could find houses any day of the week, any hour of the day without you. So why should they use you? Okay, well, you're going to become the realtor that provides them options. They need you because they cannot find houses without you that are not on the MLS. So when I'm talking to a buyer, hey, say Samantha's my buyer. I'm like, hey, Samantha, I can understand that you can go on to realtor.com, realtor.ca, Zillow, House Sigma, all that kind of stuff to find your own houses, correct? Yeah, I can. Perfect. Here's what I offer you. Obviously, you have access to all those homes, and I can guarantee you, I can probably get those homes for you in a very convenient way at a less price. I can put my professionalism in that houses that you already like. But that's not why I want you to use me and represent you as a realtor. I have more options for you. Boom. There it is. What does a buyer want? A buyer wants options. Houses that you can bring them that they can't find themselves. How do you do that? That 2 hours of prospecting, when I was talking about the online lead gen stuff, you're talking to them. One of the questions on the script when you're talking to your buyers is, hey, are you currently renting or do you own? For those that say I own, the follow-up question is, are you planning to buy first or sell first? So when they go ahead and say sell first or buy first, it doesn't matter. What you're going to go and do is say, can you tell me about the house that you're going to sell later when the time is right? Okay, 2 bedrooms, 2,000 square feet. Awesome. You write down all the details in this neighborhood. Then I'm going to ask them a question. I'm going to say, hey, Samantha, listen, if I found a buyer for this property, you don't have to sign anything with me. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. We're not going to put it on the MLS. But if I had a buyer, because I'm dealing with buyers all the time, as you can see, can I tell them about your property? She's going to say, yeah. And she might say something like, yeah, it's messy right now and all that kind of stuff. Say, don't worry, Samantha. I'm going to give you ample time if somebody's going to come and see it. And really, they don't care about how it looks. Okay, so now what am I doing? I'm building a list of off-market properties. So during my prospecting of my buyers, what I covered earlier in this video, remember I said the 3 best deals in XYZ city? Well, 50% of those buyers or more have houses to sell. And if I'm doing my prospecting every day, I'm making a list of Samantha, Jim, Abdul, all these people that are looking to sell their homes. I'm making a list of off-market properties, which I'm sharing now, not right away, but I'm keeping in my back pocket when I'm trying to lock in listings, when I'm trying to lock in buyers to work with me in terms of options. It works in reverse. Okay. Now, the other thing that I'm doing on a daily from member buyers want options, I'm calling expiries for those people that can call expiries in their city. Depending on what board you're in, they may or may not allow you, but you can call expiries. Expiries are awesome places to find off-market properties because your potential buyer cannot see them right now because they're off-market. Here's how that play goes. Hey, Samantha the buyer. Look, there is houses that were on sale, but for some reason they did not sell. I know these people were at a time motivated to sell. I can also bring you to those properties. And when I bring you to those properties, there's going to be less competition. The other thing I want you to do on a daily is talk to for sale by owners. For sale by owners, there's programs out there. I have them. Okay. And if you leave me a comment and you're a realtor, I could share those with you, or I can do a video later on. So hit that subscribe button. But you can find programs that's going to give you a list for sale by owners constantly. Now, one of your jobs during your prospecting sessions is calling those for sale by owners, but that's not this video. What you're going to do is you're going to tell the buyer that there's some more options. Those are options of people that chose to sell their houses privately. You can't see those on the MLS, a lot of them. So you're going to put that in your wheelhouse. Okay. Now there's ways that I have where I got bank sales from my connections and networks, distress sales from my connections and networks. You can talk to divorce lawyers in your networks. You can talk to trustees, people that are going through bankruptcy. Literally, you can talk to contractors. Painters are great ones where they're painting a house because someone wants to sell. So get that network together, and what you're doing is you're finding off-market properties and you're offering buyers options. Okay. Let's recap before we get to the third foundation. Foundation number 1, know what a seller wants. Okay, we know what seller wants. Seller wants a buyer. Does not want the realtor that's constantly trying to be the hero of the story. 2, what does a buyer want? A buyer wants options. Options they cannot get on the internet. Options that they need you for. Third foundation, if you understand these 3 things, and here's the third one, you will rock and roll in real estate sales. The third foundation is, why should they use you? In the marketplace, in our industry, we call it the unique selling proposition or your value proposition. Why should they use you as a realtor above and beyond using your competition or simply doing it themselves? Now you got to give them a unique selling proposition. Look, I've taken a lot of coaching. I've seen a lot of things. A lot of realtors use so many different things, but I'm going to share with you what worked for me today. Okay. I've seen agents saying, hey, I'm going to guarantee the sale of your home, or I'm going to buy it, or I'll sell it in 21 days. Or if you buy with me, I'm going to give you a vacation for 2 to Mexico. So pack your bags. What else have I seen? I've seen people, there's giveaways for a Tesla or a car, all kinds of stuff I saw. Here was my unique selling proposition, and I suggest you use it because there's no gimmicks. I'm the professional. Your unique selling proposition should simply be that you are the expert. Okay. The reason why I've sold a lot of homes in this industry is because I love making people money. Let me tell you a story about one of my clients. She wanted to live in a city nearby here called Mississauga. Okay. If you're not from the Ontario area, you might have some problems pronouncing that city, but it's Mississauga. It is a city. Google it. Okay. She wanted to be in Mississauga, but Mississauga was a busy core, a lot of people, expensive houses. Okay. There was an up and coming city back then. Okay. And it was called Milton. Nobody really heard about Milton at that point. Now everybody knows about it. It's becoming another, popular city that's expensive. But it was a 15-minute drive from Mississauga. And I told them, like, listen, I know you want this, but can we show you some houses in Milton? I know you want a house in Mississauga, but can I just show you some houses in Milton? You're going to get a bigger value, bigger bang for your buck. You're going to live nicer. It's only about 50 minutes away. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to run the numbers with me. And I have spreadsheets that I ran with them. And I showed them the percentage of appreciation that would happen in Milton over Mississauga. And the more money that they can make because they're coming in such a underpriced value as opposed to the busier, more populated city that's more expensive. They listened to me. 5 years went by or so, called me, came over to the house. They gave me the biggest hug. You know how good that feels as a realtor? Because as business people, and make no mistake about it, as a realtor, you are an entrepreneur and you are a business person. We want to contribute. We want to change people's lives. We want to serve. Yes, we want to hit that money and we want to make that commission check. But when we kind of come from a place of serving, your job is so much better. And guess what? You end up making more money. So they gave me a hug and they said, Rick, we're so happy we listened to you because our neighbor's house sold and their house that doesn't even have a finished basement and it sold for X amount. We made like $300,000 off this transaction since we listened to you. So you know what we did? Guess what? We 10x this. They wanted to eventually come back to Mississauga, so now they had the money to do so because Milton appreciated heavy and Mississauga appreciated not so much. So that level of prices kind of caught each other almost, right? So now we sold in Milton, bought a house in Mississauga, but we didn't put all of their money down, all of their equity they made, the $300,000 in appreciation, plus the principal pay down, plus all the money that they put in as a down payment. Okay. So they were playing around with like $650,000 if memory serves me correctly, around that. Okay. So now we used 3/4 of that for their down payment for their new home because they didn't want a hefty mortgage, but they saved a piece of it and they also bought an investment property. Now they're in the game. Now they are in the game. Not only do they have the principal residence, but now they have an investment property. Back to the unique selling proposition. Clients use me because I made the money. I made the money and you should make the money too. So that takes a lot of skill because you have to work on your game constantly. You have to understand real estate. You have to learn the game. You have to be on top of it, practice your craft. Different story for a different day. Now, let's put this all together. Let's put the 3 foundations together. You know what sellers want, so you give them what they want. Okay, if sellers want buyers, your job as a realtor is to have a business that you're constantly talking to buyers. Got it? 2, if you know a buyer wants options, you guessed it. You build a business where you're giving them options. How does that look like? You call the feasibles, you call the expiries, you call your networks. You look for those exclusive deals with your agent networks as well. You find them options. Your unique selling proposition, your value prop is you are the person that understands real estate. If they want to make money in this game, they use you. Okay? I'm telling you, that is your best value prop. Everything else is a gimmick. And if you become the pro, you're going to get that dough. Thank you for watching this video. Stick around next time. If you like it, let me know. Take care.